All right. Ever been working on a turbo build and felt like you were missing a few ponies? Like something's just not quite right.
Yeah, I've definitely been there.
Well, today we're diving deep into a sneaky culprit that might be robbing your engine of precious power.
Ooh, sneaky culprit. I like that.
Turbocharger piping.
Rah.
Welcome to Einstein Motors, the educational platform where we break down the science of all things automotive.
So you don't have to.
Exactly. And trust me, getting this piping right is absolutely crucial for maxing out that turbo performance.
Couldn't agree more.
Now, I'm sure most mechanics already know the basics, but
Yeah.
we're going to get into the nitty-gritty today.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So first things first, why does pipe size even matter? I mean, it's just a tube, right?
Well, not quite. Think of it like this. Those pipes are the veins and arteries of your turbo system. They carry air from the turbocharger to the engine.
Okay, so they're important, but what happens if the pipe is too small?
Too small, you get restriction, like trying to drink a milkshake through a coffee straw.
Not ideal.
Not ideal at all. That restriction creates a pressure drop, and that robs your engine of power. We're talking horsepower down the drain.
7 horsepower for every PSI.
Yeah,
Right.
you got it. So yeah, size definitely matters.
All right, so smaller is bad.
Yeah.
So bigger must be better, right? More air, more power, right?
Well, not necessarily. If the pipes are too big, the airflow actually slows down.
Really? Why is that?
It's all about velocity and density. Too large of a diameter and the air just kind of meanders. That sluggish flow increases something called turbo lag.
Turbo lag. The bane of every boost enthusiast.
Exactly. It's that annoying delay between hitting the gas and feeling the boost kick in.
Like waiting for the party to start.
Precisely.
So it sounds like we need to find the Goldilocks zone. Not too small, not too large.
Exactly. We're after that sweet spot for optimal flow.
Okay, so how do we find that sweet spot? What's the magic number?
Well, think in terms of flow speed. We want that air moving at just the right velocity. The ideal range is between 200 and 300 feet per second.
200 to 300 feet per second. Okay, got it.
At those speeds, the air density remains relatively stable, making the flow smooth and efficient.
Efficient flow equals happy engine. But how do we turn those feet per second into an actual pipe size? You know, something we can actually measure.
Well, let's take a real-world example. Let's say we're working on a 400 horsepower engine.
Nice. Beefy.
That engine will need an airflow of around 526 cubic feet per minute.
Okay.
To hit our target flow speed, say around 250 feet per second, you'd need a pipe with a diameter of roughly 2.5 inches.
So picture a baseball. That's about the size we're talking about, not too crazy.
Exactly. And that's a very common size for aluminum piping, readily available and easy to work with.
Perfect. But wait a second, there's more to it than just the diameter. I mean, those pipes don't just run in a straight line. They have bends, curves, the whole 9 yards.
You're absolutely right. Bends, curves, anything that disrupts the smooth flow, it's like putting speed bumps on a racetrack.
So we need to account for those bends when we're sizing things.
Exactly. A good rule of thumb is to keep the bend radius, that's the curvature of the bend, at least 1.5 times the pipe diameter. So for a 2.5-inch pipe, you want a bend radius of at least 3.75 inches.
Got it. So the smoother the bend, the better the flow.
You got it. Minimizes those pressure drops.
Okay, makes sense. But let's be real for a second. We're often working with super tight spaces under the hood. Sometimes you just can't avoid a sharp bend or less than ideal routing.
That's true. Real-world applications often involve compromises.
So what do we do in those situations?
It becomes a balancing act. We try to achieve the best possible flow within the limitations.
Right, so it sounds like there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Every build's a little different.
You got it.
Is there a way to make this process easier? You know, takes some of the guesswork out of it.
Absolutely. Einstein Motors, we've developed some online calculators that take all these variables into account. You can punch in the numbers for your specific setup, things like engine airflow, desired flow speed, pipe diameter, and even the bend radius.
So it does the math for you.
And it spits out the optimal piping size.
That's awesome. Sounds like it can save a lot of headaches.
It definitely can.
All right. So to wrap things up, what's the one key message we want our listeners to walk away with today?
Turbocharger piping is not a place to skimp or cut corners. Getting the size and routing right, it's absolutely essential for unlocking your engine's true potential.
So true. And remember, if you ever hit a snag, Einstein Motors has got your back with those calculators and tons more resources. You can find all that good stuff on our website.
einsteinmotors.com.au.
And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and follow us on socials for even more automotive deep dives.
We love nerding out on this stuff, and we know you do too.
Until next time.